Oh, so sorry. I was just scrolling on my Facebook. So, for people with autism, communicating can be difficult in general. Face to face communication, the thought of it can be overwhelming. And it can be a problem for you if maybe you can't read people's facial expressions. Maybe you're not able to communicate, give eye contact. But the focus is that people with autism want to communicate with others. And some people feel like having social media is a tool that can help them communicate with others. Some people feel like when they're on the internet, if they're on social media, you can be who you want to be, right? You don't even have to put your picture on there. You can put an emoji. Nobody has to even see your face. So for some people that might be really comforting. So computer programs, they're designed this way to suck us in, to make us want to spend more time on them. And it's been proven that social media platforms, that's what they do. They create these to suck us in. We get notifications and we feel an adrenaline rush when we see that we have notifications that someone liked, commented on something that we had or loved. We get excited about that. It affects our brains. Speaking of notifications, it drives me crazy. I cannot have notifications on my phone because the ping sound or the getting the notification makes me anxious, actually. So let me know and comment down below. Are you one of those on your phone and the settings off for notifications because you can't take the anxiety of getting those pings and noises? So being on social media might be comforting for someone with autism because you're not having to worry about reading people's expressions, gestures. There's not as much awkward social interactions. You don't have to worry about eye contact. So you might say people with autism, they can connect with other people who share their interests and can interact in a way that's meaningful or compatible with them. So it can be a tool for creating self-confidence, improving your social skills in a way. I think that's why these groups that you can find on social media are good to join, because you can connect with people in that way. You love trains? Join a group that loves trains. You love gardening? You can join a gardening group. You can talk about your special interest and not worry about communicating face to face. So it's very appealing, the thought of it, isn't it? The problem is when it affects our self-esteem or our confidence levels in a negative way. People with autism, we can be very repetitive. So it can come to a point where you're engaging on social media in a repetitive way. Like every day you get on there at 9 o'clock and spend an hour, might even become your hobby. Those are things we have to be careful about, being too engaged with these programs that are created to engage people in general. And we are more likely to have repetitive behavior, and it can affect us in a negative way. So we have to be aware of that, because it can become a problem. Less masking. When you are using social media, you don't need to mask. You can be yourself. And maybe you're like me. You really appreciate emojis in conversations because you don't understand or hear the tone of voice someone is saying in their message. You don't know how they mean it unless they put that emoji on there. Okay, this article that I found talks about the negative side of social media. Impulsive posts can leave permanent digital records. Everything you do on the internet is there forever. You really got to be careful about what you post and what you say. If you don't want it to come back to haunt you, you might not want to post it. Cyberbullying happens, and what is it? It is where through the internet or your computer or social media, someone is bullying you. Another reason for a negative effect would be exposure to inappropriate material or predators. You'll see as one of my viewers commented on this, I'll share her story on that. Deceit, people hiding their true identity. You may not be talking to who you think you're talking to. Somebody want to add you as a friend on Facebook, put a different picture, and you think that's who they are, and it's not. You really have to be careful. I only add people I know. If someone I don't know tries to add me, I don't add them. You have a very limited social experience on social media. Yes, it's good to have some sort of conversation, whereas you might not have none. At least you're getting some kind of social communication, but it's a limited experience. I don't think it's a good thing for us to just be on social media for all of our social interactions. There comes a point where you do need to be around people to whatever you can handle, whatever extent, doing whatever activity is comfortable to you, because we need that. We are social beings. Now I want to give you some quick social media tips in case you need them. You need to remember the person you're communicating with could be hiding their identity. That's tip number 1. Don't ever give out your birth date, address, or anything like that. Avoid sharing your schedule or travel plans. You really have to be careful about telling people you're on vacation. Like, you don't want your house to get robbed while you're gone on vacation. So you have to be careful when you post things. And remember, as we talked about, every post is permanent. If you delete it, it doesn't mean that the internet gets rid of it. It's still there somewhere. Avoid oversharing, and mainly pay attention to your feelings after you log off. If you get upset, if social media makes you feel bad, maybe you don't need to be on it. Maybe it's not worth it. Or maybe you can start with limiting how much time you're on there. Put a time limit on, you're going to, for 10 minutes every day, and that's it. You're going to check it, see what's going on in your family's lives if you connect with them through social media, and then get off and be done for the day, because social media affects me negatively. I feel like the more I am on it, the more depressed I get. The more I notice my friends getting more likes, they have more friends in general, and it makes me feel depressed. So I personally can't handle being on social media that much. I only use Facebook and Instagram barely. That's it. I just don't get platforms like Twitter. I just think it's silly. I've never understood Twitter. Tweeting something, the noise it makes when you get a notification. I think for every study you find that saying that there are social benefits to being on social media, you're going to find a study that says it's not good for you as well. So first of all, at the making of this video, there have been 32 votes on this topic, and I'm sure by the end of the night there would be a lot more votes, but I have to go ahead and make this video. So 0% said they have no problem using social media and they're on all platforms. 88% said they use only 1 or 2 social media platforms. So that's most of us, right? That's me as well. So 13% are on no social media. So here's what some of your comments were. So Mary Pham says, I don't have any social media accounts because of being hacked and people spying on me. I never realized how dangerous it was. In one of my posts when I had Facebook, I mentioned I spent a lot of time at the library. Then I noticed a man who kept stalking me at the library and befriending me. He ended up being a creepy man. I don't find value on being on social media. I only watch YouTube videos and comment on accounts that I like yours. So I told Mary that's scary. That's very unfortunate. I don't blame her after that experience. Who could? I mean, it just goes to show you have to be careful what you say on social media. Alessandro, I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced your name. Alejandro. Okay, I started to actively use social media after my diagnosis. He was diagnosed earlier this year. And that was a turning point for me because I saw the added value of being able to find similar people to you easily across the world. It was the first time I felt connected to a community. But before that, I never liked social media. Instant messages are too much for me. I bought my first smartphone like 6 years ago, so I didn't have WhatsApp before that. I don't understand why people talk every day if there's nothing new or relevant in their lives to share. I have a forgotten Facebook account I don't use anymore. I'm only active on here, YouTube. For me, YouTube is the easiest one because there is already a topic to discuss, which smooths the social interaction. I can't find words today. Like, I'm just struggling to communicate and talk today, and I apologize. I really connect with what he's saying because I relate to what he's saying as far as why do people have to talk every day if there's nothing to share. I'm the same way. I think a lot of people with autism would get that for sure. Alicia Starr, she shared her comment. She said, hey Jenny, I enjoy watching videos on YouTube. I only sometimes leave comments. I had Facebook for about 10 years and no longer have an account. It felt like it was taking too much of my time and was a major distraction when I needed to accomplish other tasks daily. Yes, it can really suck you in. I mean, that's what it's created for. That's what they want ultimately. So you'll see the ads and things. They know what they're doing. And I've heard that people in Silicon Valley, their own children, they don't even let them on devices. But they don't mind if our children are on these devices. I'm just saying. Totally don't blame you. That's a good thing. I think the reason that I am on Facebook is it's kind of my digital diary for my kids to leave a legacy on. They can go back and see what was going on in my life, pictures I've shared of family, videos. I'm just trying to kind of leave a digital library of treasure trove. I can't even find the word today for what I'm trying to say. I'm struggling. Sorry about that. My kids hopefully one day will find value in going through the 10 plus years I've been on Facebook and reading about what was going on in our lives, seeing their pictures, how I responded to things, when they were little. So that's kind of my reason behind it. And also keeping in contact with my family. I'm really sorry. I probably shouldn't have made a video today. I've had like too many meltdowns over the past week. And I had even filmed one and I was going to show, and then I accidentally deleted it. So I guess it wasn't meant to show. So I am still struggling a little bit with trying to get back into routine, coming back from vacation. So here we are. Calson Zamboni 6 said, I'm currently on a few social media apps, but I'm not active on them. I'm 1+ year into burnout, and social media is too much work, not a priority. Also, I really feel like connections are made on them. Thank you for sharing that. And I just pray that your burnout will get better ends. You'll feel better soon. Some of us just can't handle being on social media, and I feel like I'm one of them sometimes. It can not a good thing always. Really, it just comes down to the individual. You have to measure for yourself. The question is, how do you feel when you get off social media? Are you feeling positive or negative? And just go from there to decide what you need to do. Natalia Layler 4915. She says, I have Instagram and Facebook accounts that I have for my business. That's a good point. Nowadays, if you have a business, you pretty much need to be on social media to some extent to be successful, it feels like. She says, but she had to delete them both from her phone because it was overwhelming looking at the stuff. She schedules all her posts once a month and never looks at it otherwise. And she says, I also don't consider YouTube a social media platform. I often will listen to podcasts on YouTube because it's easier to search and key them there. So that's very smart. She schedules them once a month. She's not having to be on social media. She has a presence there for her business sake, and it's not overwhelming her. So I think that's great advice for any of you that have a business to follow. Okay, Lily Cat. Hey, Lily Cat. She says, I am on Facebook, but I only look at it once every few months. I don't like it. YouTube is the social media that has a hold on me. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with having a Facebook, but checking it out every so often. Apparently, it makes you feel bad. So I don't blame you for that. YouTube seems to be a platform that a lot of us with autism enjoy, I feel like, because we can research anything we want to. We can learn about whatever new topic and just learn to our heart's content, and we can content to go back and look at it later. So it just boils down to you've got to do what is comfortable for you. So to wrap up this topic, I would say that I feel like we know that social media can have negative effects on us, and we just have to weigh out what works for us and figure out how we want to proceed in our lives with it in a way that doesn't cause a negative impact on our health. We're already dealing with so much when we have autism, and we don't need to add to that, right? We want to do only what's comfortable, and we know ourselves best. So if you can handle social media every day, all day, and it doesn't affect you, you know what works for you. And if you are someone that it affects every day and you feel negative when you get off, you feel depressed when you get off Facebook, maybe try cutting back. And then if that still doesn't work, just get off of it. I mean, we lived our lives before social media, right? But the connection, I think, is what draws most of us with autism to social media. We want to connect with people. And we figure even connecting through text messages, through words, it's something. It's better than nothing, right? So comment down below if you have anything to add to this topic. If you want to go into my community tab and vote on, how often you use social media, then go ahead and do that too. And I hope you got something from this topic. And if you enjoy content about adults with autism, please go down there and subscribe. I read all your comments and I will respond to all your comments. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.